This is Movies I Don't Know Explained, a show where I look at the posters of several movies and try to figure out the plot of each film. After the predictions of every film, I will watch and compare what I said and what was shown from each. My guess for Mid90s is a timeless classic discussing the change of culture in the 1990s. The attitude that America grew into during this period was quite strong, so maybe the main character has to go through growing up in this climate. There will probably be a school bully and plenty of cool kids to become friends with throughout. Maybe there will be some issues between the main character and the police, or some scummy underground dealing in the second act. Definitely a film about cuisine, which could become a dramatic tale depending on the environment. Maybe there is some harsh criticism along with undertones of sexism in this film. It could also be a dispute of sorts where one critic is shunned for how they critique chefs in this highly competitive field. I have no clue what this film is about. Maybe the main character was caught in a scheme and sent to prison. The upside down building on the poster might represent a sudden change in this person's life that spins them for a loop. Additionally, I've never heard of a name like Navalny. This could be a paranormal thriller, or it could be a highly serious investigation of several missing people in Mississippi. The poster is very interesting, and I wonder what could have led the main character to this point. It could also be a buddy cop movie where action is placed second, with comedy making more of a presence. Action galore, but I don't know any of these characters. There could be a scene of a carjacking, but it's taken in a comedic style maybe. Hopefully there isn't too much CGI in this one. It seems really interesting. Probably the most put together film out of what I watched, almost crying by the end. Definitely a timepiece that exudes skate culture to the fullest. There is a theme of growing up in this atmosphere for the main character, but the actions on why are very intriguing to watch. Trauma plays a major role throughout the film, and there are barely any scenes involving policemen. All in all, Mid90s is a very well made work with little to no fluff. A cuisine overdrive featuring the voice of Princess Peach and Renfield as they experience a menu made by a chef on a distant island. Despite the prediction of it, there are no signs of sexism in this film, but there are plenty of psychological moments throughout that makes the audience think. There was a character who reviewed the chef before, and they were criticized for their pompous attitude. The critics that are invited to the island are shunned for their practices outside of reviewing, including adultery and wiretapping. Navalny is a political documentary that shows Alexei Navalny in a dire situation. After openly opposing Vladimir Putin, Navalny is poisoned and almost killed. After 3 years of retreat in Germany, he exposes the murder plot and returns to Russia. Navalny is the victim in this situation, but is put in jail for his activism against an immovable government. There are people named Navalny, but it is a last name. Ghosts of Mississippi is a long film describing a racially charged murder in the 1960s. It's not a buddy cop movie, but it is instead a story of the investigation that happened around 30 years later. One of the better movies on the list, Alec Baldwin and Whoopi Goldberg play off very well with each other. There are no paranormal situations in this film, with the ghosts being the several black individuals that died from racial prejudices in the deep south state of Mississippi. The Thailand-based science fiction drama Khun 3 doesn't have a carjacking. Instead, the film features a mysterious, impervious cop who stops multiple gangs and corrupt police officers. By incanting certain spells, Khun can protect himself and those around him from harm. There is a vengeful spirit and an evil witch doctor as well. The film does use CGI a lot, but the quality dips only every once in a while. Mid90s was a great watch, even though I got a good amount of my predictions right. I highly recommend this film, especially for its interesting way of showing the main character's change. The menu was also very good, with Anya Taylor-Joy being a very good lead. The idea of being stranded out on an island in the middle of nowhere is quite scary, including being stuck on it with food critics. The food here is not the main subject. Navalny is a documentary about an ousted opponent of Vladimir Putin and the events of him coming back to Russia. I sort of predicted this, but the details and investigation into a poisoning was way outside of what came to mind. Ghosts of Mississippi is a well-paced, structural, and greatly written film that discusses more than just a buddy cop film. There is no comedy or good times to be had, with the ghosts in the film being several black men who had died from the acts of racists in the 1960s. The poster I used depicts a scene that never happened. Maybe it was supposed to show how the main character is separated from the rest of the public due to the research he's putting into the investigation. Khun 3 is very well made, with action being second fiddle to the drama throughout. It uses science fiction very interestingly. I didn't know the two films before this one, so it's a little strange to figure out how it describes previous events. All in all, this video is the first of a few where I select films to guess and then watch them, followed by comparisons in the end. If you have a film to suggest that you think I never heard of, put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video.